Welcome back. This is video number 2 in a series about the artful science of pitching. My name is Frank Erschen. If you want to learn a little bit about me and what the artful science of pitching backgrounder is, please see video number 1. What I'm going to do is talk a little bit about the 13 things that you need to include in your pitch. From these 13 things, you can shrink the content to deliver anything from a 15-second elevator pitch to a couple of minute stand-up pitch, or you can lengthen the pitch to take as much time as you need or as much time as the investor is willing to give you to talk about your business. The real key to this is being able to talk through those things very comfortably, competently, and delivering the same message all the time. One very important point is you need to understand the difference between an uninterrupted pitch and an interactive pitch. This is how I look at the two different types of pitches. In the upper right corner, you'll see a green box. It's green because this is typically the easiest kind of pitch to put together. It's a long pitch, anywhere from 5 to 12 to more minutes. The important thing about this is the investors that are giving you the time on the stage are expecting you to tell a complete story. In contrast, in the red box is an interactive kind of pitch. The secret for success in those kinds of scenarios is deliver the important information up front very quickly. The reason it's red is those are the toughest to do. They're the most unpredictable, and yet you have to be on your game and know all your material. Below that, you'll see some yellow boxes. These are shorter pitches. They tend to be related to an event. It could be a large pitch event, or it could be a speed dating kind of pitch event. And here again, what you need to be able to do is to deliver something very quickly, but because it's an event where other people are pitching at the same time, you need to make sure that you not only have a strong, cogent pitch, but you have a very compelling close, because you're going to be compared against the people that came before you and the people that come after you. Once you have this, you can twist and turn this pitch into other purposes, and we'll talk about this at the end. I break up the 13 topics into 3 areas. What we need to be able to do is create some interest, convert that interest into potential action, and finally convert that potential action into real action. The real action being the investor comes up to you at the end of the pitch and says, "I'd like to learn more, let's book some time." If that's the outcome, you've had a very successful pitch. The first 6 deal with generating interest. The middle one is the one that deals with converting interest to potential action. And then the last 6 deal with closing what I call the sale. The 13 items are important to me, but the order is not as important to me. The order needs to be of extreme importance to you because you're the one telling the story, you're the one delivering the pitch. We start with a very simple one, the introduction page. Yes, it's a topic. This is the opportunity for you to introduce the company, yourself by name and role, and to be able to talk about why you're pitching today. We go from there to the elevator pitch. This is an important part of your pitch in my view. It's the maximum 15 seconds that you're going to talk about at the beginning of your pitch to set the context for the investors about what space you're in and what kind of business you have. It's easy because it's only 15 seconds, but it's difficult because it's 15 seconds. So here's an example of an entrepreneur named Andy who steps on an elevator and happens to see somebody that he's been wanting to see. And what Andy says to this person is, "Actually, I've been hoping to run into you. We've developed an optimally sized, open and standards compliant operating system for the Class A compatible and Class B microprocessor units found in low-end intelligent enabled devices." If you were on an elevator and you heard Andy say that, what you'd probably start doing is pressing the next button to get off on the floor, because that's gobbledygook. It's too many syllables, too many large words, it's one long sentence. And it's very difficult to parse a sentence like that when you're listening to it for the first time. Andy could have said, "Thanks for asking. I founded Smart CPU. We've developed a best-in-class operating system for devices like your toaster. We cost less and leave more room for the apps that make your toaster smart. We're proven and I need investment to commercialize. I'd love to tell you about our plans." Let's look at why that's better. First thing, Andy actually said thank you. It's a great way to start. The second part is he's talked about what he's done and the name of the company. The third is he's talked about what he's built and what he's selling. He's talked about the purpose of the product. He's talked about familiar devices to make it easy for somebody to understand. Talked about a couple of value propositions. Talked about something that causes intrigue in the investor. And then the next thing that Andy's talked about is status, stage, and ask, We're proven and I need investment to commercialize. So commercialize is the use of proceeds. And then he has an ask for a meeting. I'd love to tell you about our plans. Andy was able to deliver all of these kinds of pieces of information that allows the investor to say, that sounds really interesting. I'd like to learn some more. I'm on my way to a meeting, but I'll tell you what, if you hang around, I'd like to have a coffee with you. Or maybe it's, here's my card, give me a call. Now, how can we apply the true elevator scenario into the pitch? Well, instead of that long sentence that I just went through, Andy might say something like this: Smart CPU has developed a best-in-class operating system for smart devices like your toaster. We cost less and leave more room for the apps that make appliances smart and life easier. And on your screen, you might have a couple of phrases from your elevator pitch, things like low cost, low footprint operating system, making small appliances smart and life easier, and your logo. That's the elevator pitch page. It's as simple as that, but they usually take a little bit of work to get right, because we usually start by trying to talk about the company and summarizing the pitch, but what we're really trying to do is to get something in front of the investors to cause them to say, you know what, this sounds kind of interesting, I'm going to listen to this pitch. Once we've covered the introduction and the elevator pitch, the first thing that we need to go to is, what problem in the world are we solving? This is very important to investors because it anchors them into what area of business that your startup is operating. You want to minimize how much time you spend on this and then move on to the next piece, which is, how large is this problem in the world? The market size or market opportunity part of the pitch. Don't go bigger than you need to. Make it about the problem. The best way to get a handle on your market size is to do a combination of top-down and bottom-up analysis. If you combine those two things, you're going to get a really good handle on your market opportunity. In truth, there is no shortage of data out there when it comes to being able to look at most market opportunities. So let's go on to the product. Now, the real secret here is to avoid making this into a product pitch. So you have to treat your product like a feature of the business, not like something you're trying to sell to the investors. The way you do that is you talk about how you solve the problem and what are the value propositions that causes them to buy or use your product. Number 6 is the answer to the question, why now? This is your opportunity to talk about why now is a great time for your product to be coming to market, for investment in your business. It's an opportunity to cite third-party research or perhaps your own research that you've done to be able to highlight why now is a great time. Once you've done these 6 things, you've really given the investors enough to be able to decide amongst themselves, am I interested in this or am I not? And that sets us up to be able to convert interest to potential action. So we'll see you on video number 3.